We need now we're going to make the chocolatey brownie part. Okay, so what I want to do is start with 2 sticks of butter. And again, I'm using the mixing bowl with the paddle. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the whole thing in. Basically, you got a full pound of butter going in. Okay. I always like to start with my butter in the bottom. But that's my personal preference. Okay, so there's the butter. Now, sugar. We're going to need 4 cups of sugar. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this is basically, this is a basic brownie recipe that I'm making right here. Basic scratch brownies. Like I said, 1 pound of butter, 4 cups of sugar. Now I'm going to use 8 ounces of baking cocoa, 100% unsweetened cocoa. Okay, I'm going to use the whole thing. This recipe calls for 2 cups. I believe that this package will be just a little less than 2 cups, but that's going to be fine. That's going to be perfect for our needs. Okay, so I'm just going to dump the whole thing right in. Here's that. Okay, now I'm going to start mixing it. Start on low. And the butter has been softened as well. That's been out of the fridge for at least an hour, so they keep to room temperature. Okay. So we're going to let this mix smooth. A bunch of it over there. This is why we start with a clean table. Get all that cocoa in there. Okay, see how dark this is? Alright, see, that's going to be a very, very chocolatey brownie mix. Now, some recipes ask you to melt the butter first, and some ask you to cream the butter. I'm creaming on this for this recipe because I want to be able to fold the peanut butter mixture in on top. Okay, so all right, now we need some eggs. That was working really hard there. All right, 1. We're going to need 8 eggs total, so I'm going to start with 2 right from the get-go. And again, we want everything to mix in gradual, so we'll just let it go. And okay, so that's 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Pull them all out, get them out in front of me so I don't forget any. One there. Okay, last one. Okie dokie. Give this a scrape. And we'll let it keep mixing. We want this to become smooth. Actually, now would be a good time to clean off the paddle. Okay, see how it's dark on top? That's the part that hasn't got the egg mixed into it yet. So we want to make sure that gets down into the bottom of the bowl. And that looks good right there. And now's a good time, might as well scrape down to the very bottom, just to make sure that we don't have any thick spots of butter and sugar or straight cocoa. There we go. Okay. See, the few chunks that you do see, the little lumps, those are spots that need to be mixed in with the egg. Okay, so now let's finish it off here. Make it nice and smooth. Now we can turn it up a little bit, hurry it along. Oh yeah, that's looking beautiful. Okay. Turn it down a little bit. Okay, so now for the last couple of ingredients here, what we're going to want to do is use our special vanilla here. We'll put some vanilla in there. Okay, now I used salted butter, so I don't need to add any salt. If you are using unsalted butter at home, at this point you would want to use about a teaspoon of salt. So keep that in mind. Okay, now all we need to do is add our flour. So for the flour, we're going to need 2 full cups. We can actually do 2.5 if we want. Okay, there's 1. The thing about brownies is there's very little flour in the brownies. It's all eggs and sugar and fat, you know, like butter or shortening or margarine or whatever you're using. I always use butter myself. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add about an extra 1/3 of a cup of flour, just because I like to be able to work with it a little bit better. Now, again, I'm going to gently jog the mixer, because I don't want to have everything fluff up into my face like I did with the cocoa. Okay, notice the flour is just mixing right in. I want it to basically disappear, and then we'll give it a scrape. Notice how the mixer is working now. It's working very hard. Turn it up a little bit. All right. Now I'm going to give it a final scrape. Now the surface is very stiff because that's where the flour is. The very bottom is actually still very mushy. And I would call it soft because the flour hasn't incorporated into it yet. So it's very important at this point that we scrape all the way down to the bottom and get everything all even. Okay, final mix. And that's good. Okay. Oy. That's a lot of batter. Okay. So now we have our peanut butter, we have our chocolate. Let me move this out of the way here, folks. Okay. Alright, so we're going to use our big old brownie pan here. And I'm going to just spray the edges, but not the center. And then I have a piece of parchment paper here. Now, what I like to do to make these fit a little bit better is to cut the corners in like this. Whenever I'm doing my doing anything with this pan, I always snip these corners here. And then when you put it in, you just fold them over. See what I mean? See how they come together nice? They just kind of overlap in the top.
That looks like a perfect fit, John.
Yeah. Well, this is how, otherwise you're all four corners are going to be all wrinkled in the corner, and then chances are you can't get the paper out without ripping the brownie all apart.